It's weird because and we did have a positive test with what was it, the Falcons, yeah. I really thought this was going to go more poorly than it's going so far. I'll give credit where credit's due. We rip on Roger Goodell a lot, and rightly so. But I've really been enjoying the football season. Maybe it's because the Steelers are 3-0, but I think it's been great. It's been great. Like, I'm really happy the season's happening right now.
Yeah, did you watch the Packers at all last night? The Packers Saints. It was a really good game.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers, like, people are putting like Lamar, Mahomes, and Wilson as their top 3 quarterbacks. I still have Rodgers like at 1 or 2 or 3.
I agree.
Rodgers last night in the empty stadium won the game on a hard count. He drew the Saints off sides on like a 4th down from just a hard count because the stadium's so quiet that you see Rodgers go head, jumped off sides, won the game.
Smart.
And that is like, like you got to use it to your advantage. These empty stadiums, no fans, like. I think it was cool to watch him win a game that way.
No, 103. Rodgers was on the Pat McAfee show, and he was just talking about how he's made changes to his life, and he just loves life again. He loves football again. He's high-fiving guys on the team, like on the sideline. It seems like he's really like enjoying himself, whereas the last few seasons he was just kind of living in toil in Green Bay. Even getting to 1 game away from the Super Bowl last year, it just seemed like it was almost begrudgingly so, and no one doubts, like, I guess, like his talent alone. I don't see a reason why to say that, like, he is worse throwing the ball down the field than Mahomes. He is less mobile than Mahomes.
It's beautiful. He's just like little sidearm off the back foot, and it's beautiful to watch.
I see, like, because Mahomes is a generational talent, and he is, in my opinion, he's going to be LeBron of football. But If he's LeBron of football, I think Aaron Rodgers might be like that 2008 Kobe, where you're just like, hold on, like LeBron is the most talented guy, but this guy's still here, and this guy has so much fight left in him where you can't ignore his like you said, he finds ways to win. He's a winner. This guy has dealt with, he's made chicken salad out of chicken shit in Green Bay for years, and he is that guy in that aspect, but. That's why I say, like, let's pump the brakes on the whole entire. Mahomes is the undisputed best quarterback in the league. When you have guys like Aaron Rodgers still, that if I'm not, I don't want to play I know I hate when people are like, you give Aaron Rodgers his weapons and his team, but seriously, if you make that Aaron Rodgers on the Chiefs comparison, I think he wins that Super Bowl, and I think he's in the exact same place.
Yeah, I think that. It was a little bit insulting that they drafted Jordan Love in the first round when they can be contending. But the Packers look good. The Steelers, I guess, are going to be good.
Yeah, it's this weird thing of like, this is classic Steelers where for like a whole half of basketball, a whole half of football, you just look at them and say like, what the hell? Like, I thought this team was supposed to be good. And this, I don't know if you watched this Texans game. Perfect example. First half, the defense is all over the place. Deshaun Watson's balling. And their first couple drives look terrible on offense. And we kind of get it together later in the half. And then we come out in the second half and we don't allow another point at all. For the whole entire second half, Deshaun Watson looks lost out there. And our offense is still is connecting with, like, as the game goes on, we're adapting. And it's just, but at the same time, you're like, all right, well, I think they should have won by more. And why isn't this team consistent? Why isn't this team playing for 4 quarters? It's frustrating, but I do think we have a lot of potential this year.
I started Deshaun Watson in fantasy, kept Ben on the bench, and I'm going to probably have to amend that going forward. Yeah, the Steelers 3-0, I did not expect. I think that what you just said, like, if they aren't playing 4 quarters every game, they're not going to keep winning, but I think that somehow, like, you lose Antonio, you lose Le'Veon, and you're still just like the same team.
We got wet. Like, I think we have Deontay Johnson. You got a concussion. Prayers up. Hopefully he's good. But Juju I think he can be that number 1 guy. And we saw yesterday with Ebron and Vance McDonald. It's kind of this like, it's like the Walmart version of Gronkowski and Aaron Hernandez, where you're just like, you got these dual tight ends that. If now it opens up, like, if you have the talented receivers and you've opened up the middle, now you have 2 talented guys that can run whatever cross routes is anything, and it just makes Ben's job so much easier, and it also makes the running game more dangerous. It keeps you on your toes. So I'm excited. I think this team. Are we gonna can we beat the Chiefs in the playoffs? I think is the question for every AFC team. Are you good enough to beat the Chiefs in the playoffs? Because nothing matters unless you're good enough to do that. And apparently Herbert and the Chargers put up some bit of a fight, but I don't think that right now. I look at the AFC and I don't know. I don't see until I see a real challenger in the AFC. I'm really gonna pump the brakes on any kind of the Chiefs are not going to go to the Super Bowl talk, because as much as I like to say Mahomes might not be maybe Aaron Rodgers, he's still fucking good and this team is dirty. I want to
gauge how high you are on the Steelers by comparing them to the other 3-0 teams. Okay, so the Bills are 3-0. Bills are Steelers.
Yeah. Steelers for sure.
Yeah, I also Josh Allen. Everyone's going crazy. I hated on him a lot, and maybe
You did hate on him a lot.
Maybe he earns a little bit of respect, but he beat the Dolphins and he beat the Jets. 2 of those 3 games.
He beat the Rams. Okay, but you did call him a poor man's Colin Kaepernick. You did. We can play the tape back. We can play the tape back.
100% did, and maybe I'm wrong about that, but I'd like to see him against a real defense before we go around saying he's the next guy.
I agree.
All right, next up, Titans or Steelers?
I think us for sure. I don't know if you watched the Titans game this Sunday. That was pretty much nothing short of a miracle. A 55-yard game winner by Gostowski is as much as maybe we shouldn't have won that game. Their defense is really good and it showed up in that last drive. Kirk Cousins wasn't going to drive that ball down the field though, and I think the Vikings are in a lot of trouble. So I don't know. I think the Titans are a good 3-0 team, but I think we're more talented.
I believe in Tannehill. All right, now getting into it. The Packers and the Steelers.
Packers. I think the Packers just play more consistently, and they got the better quarterback.
2 teams left. The Bears or the Steelers. The Bears switched from Mitch to
to Nick
Foles?
It was Nick Foles, and I think Nick Foles. I believe I'm a huge Nick Foles fan, a huge Nick Foles guy. I think
very good defense.
I think him put into the right system. I mean, we saw I know it was a long time ago. I remember that one Eagles year where he had.
Yep.
He had 3 interceptions or something the entire year. He was
very good.
He looked really sharp, and he has the clutch gene. We all know Big Dick Nick. He is that guy. I still think the Steelers are a little better. Because I do think our defense, it comes down to our defense, I think is comparable. I think we have a comparable defense to the Bears on our best day. And I think that our offense is, I think you'd have to give us the edge. I think we have more consistency. And not only in our running game too, we have 3 backs who could be the primary back on any given day. So I don't think you can say that about the Bears.
Last team undefeated still, except for the Chiefs and Ravens who are going to play tonight, is the Seahawks.
Seahawks for sure. Dude, Russell Wilson. I think we should talk about Russell Wilson because not that he doesn't get the respect because he does, but his defense has been terrible so far this season, and
Jamal Adams has been cool for them.
I mean,
he's hurt though.
He got knocked out of the game. He got knocked out of the game last game, but Russell Wilson. I want to bite my tongue, but I think that he's not as good as Mahomes. But I think when you're talking about wins over replacement, win shares, whatever, plus minus, whatever you want to call it, I think he has to be at the top.
I was talking about this the other day. I agree because I was trying to compare him to Rodgers, and I was like, Rodgers has the golden arm, and I don't think Mahomes or Wilson does. But Wilson isn't Lamar Jackson, but he creates so much time in the pocket where he's shuffling around, moving around, and he finds the open guy. I think that just his mentals, his pocket awareness and mobility, and then passing to just the right receiver, not throwing stupid passes, he's physically maybe he's 5'11", whatever. He's not as good as some other guys, but his mentals, he is a top quarterback for sure.
Yeah, he has this ability just to carry teams in situations where I don't think any other quarterback is winning games in certain situations where he has won. I don't know what it is. You call it intangibles. I think he's just, in my opinion, I think he's just the best athlete in football. I think he, like you said, buying time in the pocket, extending plays. I think ever since he threw that interception on the goal line to Malcolm Butler, I think like I don't know if that moment changed him or something, but he's had such a killer instinct ever since then, and I think it's half the Seahawks buying into him. They don't run the ball anymore. Like they used to be a ground and pound football team. They've given him the reins. Like he is their offense now, and I think that gives him the confidence. But also his development over the last like 4 years, I don't think we're realizing it now. But when it's all said and done, he might go down as, you know, one of the best quarterbacks of the 2000s, like top 3, top 5, like kind of caliber quarterback.
I think it's pretty well known, but he's pretty religious. I remember after that Super Bowl, he was like, he threw that interception. It was the worst moment of his life. And he was like, God said, like, this is a test. And he said, I've taken that as I'm being tested. And the last 4 years on a mission from God, trying to just get back to that Super Bowl. And
I mean, he's definitely blessed now.
His Tim Tebow arc.
Yeah, the Tim Tebow arc for sure. He's definitely blessed now. He definitely has. I'll say it again. It's just an uncanny ability to win. And I think that in football, where you have 16 games, where you have playoff games, or just it's win or lose, win or go home. Like you don't have 7-game series. Like that is such a valuable asset. And if I'm anyone in the NFC, like no matter who you are, if you're the Packers, if you're Saints, anybody, which we could talk about the Saints in a sec, but you're worried about seeing Russell in the playoffs. Like just because he's a guy who's going to will his team, and you're gonna have to play some perfect football to keep him at bay. Now, that used to be, I think, said of the Saints in the way that I think they've gone screwed by like bad calls or just, you know, the Minnesota Miracle and whatnot. But Drew Brees doesn't look like he can throw a ball more than 10 yards right now. And I'm a little concerned. Michael Thomas is out. I know that's huge, but like, I don't know where the Saints team goes from here. I don't know because their division, which has been so habitually bad, is no longer that habitually bad division. Like they can very well miss the playoffs.
I blame the defense more than Drew Brees. Like their backup is Winston, and I'm not ready to throw Jameis Winston over Drew Brees yet. Alvin Kamara had 200 scrimmage yards last night and 2 touchdowns, and they lost the game. And I put that on the defense giving up. It's Aaron Rodgers, but like you're giving up 37 points or whatever. It's hard to win football games that way. And they're 2-1, right? They're 2 or they're 1-2.
No, they're 1-2.
They're 1-2, and they're behind Brady and the Bucks. So I see that they have a hard path to the playoffs, but I still believe in that team and the talent they have. I don't know. Maybe the Bucks do get the division though.
I think the Bucks get the division, but I think that it's concerning seeing Brees not being, because Brees is a surgical. He's probably when you say like most accurate quarterbacks in the league. Like his name is always up there, and if his arm isn't there, he's a pocket quarterback. He's not, it's not like Lamar where you're just like, okay, his arm doesn't look that great today, but he's gonna make plays and whatnot. He won't, and the Saints' expectations are not like let's be 8-8 or let's win more games than we're gonna lose. It's let's go back to the Super Bowl, and that's why Drew Brees came back. That's why he didn't retire, and I don't know, like it's 3 games, and we'll see what happens. But I think right now you have to say it's not trending in a great direction. I think a more interesting team to talk about in the NFC. I really want to talk about this Eagles team. I want to talk about the Eagles because I don't know what the hell is going on. And Carson Wentz looks straight up bad.
Carson Wentz is very bad, not good.
Is he bad though? Like that's the thing is like he's shown ability in the past to be nothing short. His ceiling is top 5 quarterback. That's his ceiling. Yeah. And he has, since that season where he was showing that and tears his ACL, he hasn't even come close to that kind of performance. But truth be told, it's his decision making. It's not his ability. He wants to make that game-winning play every play. I can see he holds the ball in the pocket way too long. He's getting sacked. And I don't think he's listening to his coaching staff. I don't think he's I think there's some internal problems, obviously. I mean, if you tie against the Bengals and you lose the other 2 games, there's definitely something going wrong. But it's like, seriously, like what happened to Carson Wentz? Like, are we going to see Jalen Hurts this year? Like, I think these are valid questions from a team that's a few years outside of winning the Super Bowl. It's crazy to see the decline of Carson. I I don't know. Is it over? Like, are you starting Jalen? If you're Doug Peterson, you starting Jalen Hurts?
I've heard my roommates barking for Jalen Hurts. I'm not there yet. It is like Carson Wentz. If you think about it, like he was like basically MVP that year that won the Super Bowl, and he got hurt like 2 games short, and then Nick Foles comes in and wins it for him, and Nick Foles is the folk hero in Philly. Like no one is like Carson Wentz never buys a drink in this city again. Like that's Nick Foles. Carson Wentz still has a lot to prove, even though like he got them to the goal line of the Super Bowl, and and ever since it's not looked pretty. I don't know if Jalen Hurts can play football in the NFL. That's why I'm going to go with Carson. But that also because they're 0-2-1 and they're a half a game out of first in the division. That division sucks. And so I would stick with the guy that can be a franchise QB when I'm half a game out behind the Washington football team.
No, that is true. That anyone can win that division at any given. You can win 6 games in that division. I think you have a solid chance. I think the Cowboys looked pretty good yesterday, despite losing. I'm not gonna lie. I think they showed up in a way I didn't think they were. They were like one Russell Wilson drive away from winning that game, which I think is impressive. But yeah, man, this Eagles team, I don't know where they go from here, and it's just looking like. Whether or not Jalen Hurts can play, I think he's going to play. And I don't know if you believe this whole entire, like, his confidence, like Carson Wentz's confidence was shot when Nick Foles won the Super Bowl. I don't think I believe that, but there's definitely something going on. I don't want to end this football talk before talking about your Dolphins, because I think if you gave me the credit of talking about the Steelers. I think your Dolphins. Everyone counts out Fitzpatrick, and I want to talk about him because I think he's a gem.
I think that he's a starting quarterback for sure. Like he makes good decisions. I think he's the perfect guy to have over Tua while Tua's developing, because he'll play well enough that we can run an offense and we kick the Jaguars' ass. Like we showed that we're not a joke of a team like we were at the beginning of last year. So he's good enough to like we blew out that team. We're gonna win some games. But he's not good enough that we're going to go to the playoffs, I don't think. So we'll get another good draft pick, and then we'll bring in Tua to be the guy. So he's good enough to be a mentor and to be a leader. The guys on the team love him. He's fun to watch. It'd be super cool if we can win 10 games this year, but I'm not like going out on that limb. I think that we're going to go.
What changed between our season when we did our season like preview?
If you remember, I never gave us like we're going to the playoffs because I wasn't sure what this year was. I wasn't sure if last year was a tank and then this year was like, all right, now we're going to try and win, or we have another 13 picks in this draft. I kind of wasn't sure if like, are we going to throw Tua out there? Are we going to go all in to make the playoffs this year? And I don't think we are. I think that we have another year in front of us because we have cut all of our, like, Fitzpatrick is the oldest player on this team by, like, 10 years. He's the only player on this team over the age of 30. So we have been really, like, trying to go younger. We have not spent money on free agents at all. I think that next season we have a ton of cap space that we just left open for this year. I think that next year when we have all these draft picks and Tua, we go spend some money on some guys. And I think this is another year to just try and get better. Again, if we win 10 games, I'd love it, but I'm not seeing it.
I mean, yeah, I think the Bills are probably a little better than you give them credit for. I think that.
I think the Patriots. I always knew we're gonna. I still think it's gonna be the Patriots.
Well, it's funny. Their defense isn't great, and I know they have so many holdouts on their defense, and that's the reason.
They're a well-coached football team.
Yeah, that's the thing, though, is that it's like you have, again, Bill Belichick, praise to him, literally just can take all the puzzle fits that aren't supposed to fit together and make them fit together. Like and I think Cam Newton, I mean, he's a guy not playing for glory anymore. He's just playing to win, and I think that's a really. I think the renaissance of Cam Newton is something to be celebrated.
He's just like plugged into their offense. He had 167 passing yards, a touchdown, an interception, and like 27 rush yards yesterday. He did not have a statistically great game, but their offense controlled the game because he's just like doing what their offense is supposed to. Like they're running the plays and he's throwing the short passes. Like he fits well for them. And I think that's how the Patriots win. They're not going to like entertain you very much, but they're going to like just keep scoring touchdowns and getting stops because they're a very well-coached football team. And I think even if it was Jarrett Stidham, they'd be winning games. Like I think Jarrett Stidham could have got them to 9-7.
That is bold. That's a bold statement.
I think you can plug any quarterback. Remember when Jacoby Brissett came in? They're still beating teams.
I mean, yeah. So Bill Belichick is gonna find a way to win with any quarterback, whether it's Matt Castle or Jimmy G. But I think that Cam Newton is actually the perfect quarterback for what they're doing, and I think that's by design, obviously. But I think that like in this dual threat league where you want to have a guy who can run, you want a guy who can pass, and I'm not gonna buy into this. People are saying there's a renaissance happening. We're one Lamar Jackson getting knocked out of the game from this for us being like, oh yeah, we forgot. This puts your quarterback at such a higher risk. Like
Cam does not take contact anymore.
Well,
he slides every play.
Yeah, that's why I want to say he's different. I think that the way that it's like it's ground and pound almost. Even on passing plays, it just feels ground and pound and I think this is the new gen. Like if you want to say a new gen, I think the new gen is going to be these middle tier teams that don't have a Lamar Jackson, that don't have a Josh Allen, that you're just going to have a guy like Cam be this, like, again, 150 yards, 50 rush yards, nothing crazy, nothing dazzling, nothing like that. But you're going to win football games just by having a variance in your play calling. I think that might be more the future, especially because it's not about these. If you have Lamar Jackson, you're going to win. But if it's more about these middle tier teams trying to find a way to scrap these 9-win, 10-win seasons, I think that's more the future.